the very positive scenario of AI is actually in a lot of ways the description of heaven, in that really nobody would need to work. I wouldn't even call it universal basic income. I'd say it's probably universal high income. I'm describing the best case scenario here. So I'm not saying this is definitely what will occur. There's a range of scenarios from very negative to very positive. The very positive scenario is basically sounds like heaven. You can have whatever you want. You don't need to work. You have no obligations. Any illness you have can be cured. When
do we die?
Well, that's a good question.
I think it'll be a choice.
Yeah, I think it probably ends up being somewhat of a choice.
Also, that everyone gets a great education, right? Everyone has that story of that one teacher that they had who paid attention to them and inspired them on a specific subject. Imagine if you had that teacher for anything you wanted constantly, and just how much better people would we be, how much better would we relate to others. Like, that is just one example of the kinds of upsides that are possible. And I think the question of, well, what does it mean to be a human? If you back to how do you predict what's going to come next? Actually, the thinker who I think had the best foresight about how the AI revolution was going to play out is actually Ray Kurzweil. I agree. Yeah, and his book Singularity is Near gets like a lot. I think that people, kind of assume it's going to be this almost like just sort of religious text, but instead it's a very dry analytical text. And he just looks at the compute curves and he says, this is the fundamental unlocker of intelligence. Everyone thought that was crazy, and now it's basically true. It's basically common wisdom. And part of what he says is, look, what's going to happen is in 2030s, first of all, he says AGI 2029.
Yeah, I keep telling people, it seems to be almost exactly right.
It's spooky. It's spooky. 2030s is when the merge happens. So we've got Neuralink coming, and maybe other systems like that. And what does it mean once you actually are kind of merging with an intelligence?